So today I've got a block of 6AL4V titanium that I'm going to be turning into this manifold on our YCM JC6, and I'm going to show you that not only can a machine this size machine this part, it can do it efficiently too. With the rising popularity in superalloys like titanium, it's more important now than ever to know how to effectively cut these materials. I'm going to walk you through the process step by step, and you can apply it directly in your shop. Today we're going to be running op 1 of a titanium manifold. So the first tool in the process is a 3-inch face mill. So pretty standard tool path. We're just going to make a roughing pass and then a finishing pass. So the next step in the process is a 3/4 inch 8-flute end mill by Kennametal. It's a Harvey 4, and I really liked how this end mill held up. So to program this, I used SolidCam's iMachining 3D strategy. So I really like the algorithm they use to create the toolpath. So their main focus when developing iMachining 3D was to keep cutting forces as stable as possible. So you're gonna see adjusted feeds throughout your program to compensate for any added tool pressure, bigger step overs, or when you're doing an inside versus an outside fillet. So at first it felt like I was giving up a lot of control using this wizard-based system. I'm used to just putting in a step over and a feed rate and it giving me exactly that. But with iMachining, it's going to adjust for any changes in tool pressure by slowing down your feed rate or speeding it up when it can. So my approach to roughing this material out was to chain drill this pocket and then drill out these 3 bores. I'm using a 984 drill. So in these situations, what I like to do is program it with 2 approaches and see which one comes out faster in the estimated time. In this case, chain drilling it was about 40% faster than just drilling a pilot hole and then roughing it out with an end mill. So I went with chain drilling and it worked out really well on this part. So the next tool is a 3/8 end mill. It's also a Harvey 4 from Kennametal. It's an 8-flute end mill, and I roughed out this pocket in 2 depths. And I used iMachining 3D again on this pocket. iMachining 3D makes using updated stock really easy, so it takes into consideration all the material that's removed by the drill. So we're not ever cutting air, and we get the most efficient tool path possible. So one thing that you need to do before you can use the iMachining 3D strategy, you need to select the material you're machining from your machining database. So they have a lot of metals built in, but if you want to just create your own, it's really easy. Create a new material. You're going to come in here and right click and click new material. Now the only number you need to put in when defining a new material is the ultimate tensile strength. So to find that, you can go to a website like matweb.com and search for whatever you're cutting, and that number is going to be listed in the material properties shown here. So for TI 6AL4V, our ultimate tensile strength is 138,000 PSI. So I add that number here and save that material to my database. Then in your CAM part definition, you select that material, and that's all you need to do for the iMachining toolpath to function properly. So next we need to drill out our 312 holes. So for drilling in titanium, you really need through coolant. We're using our Henning Veriflow high pressure coolant system, so we've got 1,000 PSI of through coolant pressure. It's great for getting the chips out of the hole and extending your tool life. And again, I just pulled these feeds and speeds straight off the Kennametal website. Now next we need to do our 3/8 holes, and it's the exact same process as the 312 holes. So the great thing about these Kennametal drills is you don't need a spot drill for 8 times diameter or less. This drill is at that upper limit and it's done. But yeah, we have no spot drill. Now we're gonna finish the outside of our part. And to do this, we're using a 3/4 Harvey 4 end mill. Just like the roughing, we're using an end mill with chip breakers, and how they have them laid out allows you to still have a perfectly smooth finish on the outside of your part. I would usually run this part on a 5-axis machine, but this YCM JC6 is more than capable. It's priced the same as a Haas. It has 25 horsepower and a 12K spindle. So throughout my 20 years in this trade, I've run almost every major brand of machine. And I gotta say, I genuinely think, pound for pound, this is the best machine I've run. And we are a YCM distributor, so if you're interested in learning more about these machines, you can visit our website or contact Keith at titansofcnc.com directly for more information. Now, I'd usually be using the through coolant on this tool as well to get the chips out of the pocket, but through coolant on camera makes it so you can't see anything. So if you have the opportunity to use through coolant, you always should, especially with pockets like this. That way you're not recutting the chips that are stuck in the pocket and screwing up your finished surfaces. Next, we're gonna use a 3/8 end mill with a 60 thousandths radius on the corners to finish these steps in our bores and in our pocket. So every end mill I'm using on this project is a Harvey 4, and with titanium, it gets built up into this hard to machine metal, but really, if you have the right tools, it's not bad at all, and your tools are gonna last a long time and wear predictably. So just make sure you have tools that are graded for titanium, and that'll eliminate 90% of the issues you have cutting titanium. So next is the O-ring groove features. They're 140 thousandths wide and 50 thousandths deep. So I'm gonna use an 1/8 inch end mill to rough and finish these. I'm gonna use a 10 thou step down. That way I can keep a high enough feed rate to break the chips and get them out of the path of the end mill. Now, after we rough out our O-ring grooves, we're gonna finish them with the same tool. So as you can see, I'm just taking 2 passes around the profile of these grooves, making sure that our lead in and lead out is from the center of the groove and doesn't run into the wall on the opposite side of it. Next up is our chamfer tool to deburr all the edges of our part. And that completes op 1 of our manifold. All right, so the face of our part looks great. The pockets look good. The O-ring grooves came out nice. This part really illustrates how powerful of a machine this is. On a machine this size, I usually wouldn't have even tried to use 3/4 inch end mills for titanium. Most machines just aren't gonna have the torque and horsepower needed to drive a tool that size. But this machine handled it no problem. I was able to run at manufacturer's feeds and speeds, and the tool life has been great. I've run 10 of these now and haven't had to change a single tool except rotate my face mill inserts. On op 2, we're gonna face off the backside, and then ops 3 and 4, we'll add the ports, and then we'll have a completed part. If you wanna see more videos like this, subscribe to our channel. I'll see you guys on the next one.